Actually, I had a written text prepared, but after hearing the testimonies of the first two speakers, I am choosing not to use this written text because I believe that they set the theme for what truly service in this next century should be really about in order to build peaceful, sustainable solutions for better communities, nations, and the world. I was very impressed with Dr. Lee's talk and the importance of interfaith harmony and dialogue, especially in the post-9/11 world. And I was very impressed with the emphasis on the need to educate a new generation of young leaders to carry on a new global ethic of volunteering that can help transform not only the respective nations of which the participants are members of, but the region of Southeast Asia and, more importantly, the world. I would just like to, by introduction, explain about how I founded Service for Peace. I think the name Service for Peace kind of explains what the mission of that organization is about. Because the way that I looked at service was that service is a means to an end. The question is, what end do we wish to accomplish? For me, when I started Service for Peace, the end that I would like to see accomplished, whether it be in an individual, in a family, in a community, in society, in a nation, in the world, was that service should lead to the end or the conclusion of eventually coexistence, harmony, and most importantly, peace. Being a person of deep faith, my affinity to serve comes from my faith in which human beings are the sons and daughters of our Almighty God. And therefore, are people that have dignity, are people that have potential, the people who have the capacity to be able to do altruistic things because they are essentially spiritual beings. So for me, my journey, especially in the field of volunteering, as was mentioned previously by the two former speakers, came from a spiritual orientation, rooted in a deep, fundamental ethic, universal ethic, that has been the basis of time-worn wisdom traditions throughout the countless years of human growth and civilization. I'm glad to report that from those intentions, Service of Peace, after 10 years, this year marks a 10th year anniversary of Service for Peace, has become a global entity recognized by the UN, as well as working with the US government in cooperation with our National Day of Service, as well as activities here in this nation of Korea that has garnered the support and the partnership of many, many service-based organizations, as well as service-intended volunteering individuals here in this nation of Korea. What I'm most proud about is the efforts that we've made in terms of bringing the culture of serving others to our brothers and sisters in North Korea. Service for Peace is one of the first organizations that pioneered not just offering foodstuffs or humanitarian aid to the North, but pioneered the ethic of service volunteering. Because as we engage with indigenous people, what essentially is happening, as the former speakers have mentioned, is that through engagement, you are actually learning and teaching about the ethic of serving others, of living for the sake of others, and how that can build better, more sustainable communities, families, and even nations. I would like to say that especially this iave conference, which is a deep honor for me to come and attend, that you are all very special people on the front line of making a fundamental change in this world. You know, volunteering is an individual act. Nobody told you to go and serve a different community or a different family or a different nation. You're doing it because you are guided by some, let's say, compassion, some belief that serving your mankind can ultimately bring about not only your spiritual enrichment, the enrichment in your own personal lives, but in the lives of others that you touch. This is a very personal act, yet it has the potential for larger consequences down the road. Consequences that could have positive or negative outcomes. In the past, many times organizations that try to offer service through humanitarian aid fail to recognize the importance of education in the need to serve others. So, as I would like to state, many times service organizations in the past had the orientation of offering somebody a fish instead of teaching them how to fish. So as we look at the service field today, many in the developing world are beginning to wonder whether or not all the foreign aid that have been given to their respective nations have really been productive or not. This is really where I believe that a higher understanding and ethic needs to be established in recognizing the importance of service field as a means to an end. We're not serving just for the sake of serving. We're serving in order to build a better world, to meet fundamental needs of human beings around the world. This is really where, as leaders of service organizations, we really need to ask the question, what is the end that we are trying to accomplish? For me, I believe that service will play a pivotal role in changing the global ethic that currently is in the world. I really emphasize the importance of principles and values. Another organization that I founded, the Global Peace Festival Foundation, is rooted on the vision of building one family under God, but is emphasizing the importance of principles and values as the pillars upon which that vision can be substantiated. It has a trifold platform of building interfaith partnerships, of restoring the family, because the family is a fundamental social unit of any society, nation, and world. And more importantly, utilizing service as a vehicle to bring about sustainable community development in regions around the world. I'm glad to report that these efforts have brought about tremendous changes in the nations and the regions that we have been participating in. That is aligned with the challenges that the world currently is facing today. As service leaders, we need to deal with the interfaith issue. Here in Southeast Asia, it is more a reality than any other region in the world. As service leaders, we need to deal with the issue of the breakdown of the family and the traditional ideal of the family all around the world, especially in the developing nations of the third world economies. As service leaders, we really need to recognize that service is a vehicle to an end. That we need to have a goal orientation in terms of our service initiatives. So with that, I am deeply honored and deeply touched that I have been invited to speak to such an illustrious gathering of leaders in your own right. I'm sure that you come from disparate backgrounds, different faith communities, different nationalities, different ethnic groups, etc., etc., etc. Yet we hold one common aspiration and vision together. And that common aspiration and vision is that truly through serving others, through loving our human brothers and sisters, that we can make a fundamental change in the world. And thus, I want to applaud you in all of your efforts and also stimulate you to really think and to really challenge yourselves to how my act of service can not only transform myself and the constituents of which I might be part of as a group, but the communities that you are engaged in, the nations that you're engaged in, the region that you're engaged in, to bring about a better humanity, a more sustainable solution for this 21st century. Thank you very much.